horror fans, and welcome back to October Horror Fest. I have stated before that the 1980s was the horror movie craze, and personally I wish I could go back and experience it. I am now going to explain what caused the horror movie industry to die off or suffer a crash like the video game crash in 1983. In 1983, the video game market crashed. The reason was due to overinflation of video games and video game consoles, and to make matters worse, there was no real review system back then, so the consumers were getting stuck with bad games, as well as confusion, and the video game crash happened. The horror movie industry did have a review system, but it was not very effective in this case because, for the most part, horror films almost always got bad reviews. The early 80s started seeing imitator films to Halloween and Friday the 13th, but the early ones were okay. But the horror industry just kept growing, and sometimes there were several horror films in the theaters every week. And people couldn't keep up. And they would go to one film and love it, and then go to another and hate it. On top of this, there were lots of direct-to-video horror releases and horror movies for TV, and a lot of these later films were not good. Especially a lot of the video releases, though some were good films. With so many horror films cluttering the market and many of them being letdowns, people were getting tired of the bad quality horror industry. And when the three titans the consumer had come to depend on all released letdown films in the same year, that all but killed the horror industry. This is definitely a lesson for the horror industry. They had dominance over the 1980s, but they failed to realize, well, yes, these films didn't need to be masterpieces. They still needed to be good enough so people would want to keep watching the horror films they kept making. Today the horror industry is back and is doing well, and while yes, a lot of the horror films go directly to DVD and Blu-ray, but they usually get trailers, and thanks to Wikipedia we can read what the plot is about, and it makes a big difference what films we choose. Please tune in tomorrow to discuss another horror related topic. This is the Entertainment Wizard, signing off.